We welcome you to today's live session. And today's live session, we're going to discuss common parenting challenges and how to address them. Okay, common parenting challenges and how to address them. Now, my name is Kwame, and with me today is Ikuya Safo. Ikuya Safo is the co-founder of the Pick Parents Academy. Pick Parents Academy is an online platform that helps equip parents with the right knowledge, skills, and strategies in helping them raise wonderful children. So we appreciate everyone who's found time to join us today. And we believe that at the end of the day, we're going to have find so much value in whatever we are going to discuss here. And also, please feel free to post your comments, your suggestions, any questions you have. If you have any contributions to, you can send them across to the comment pages. And also, you can also send us a direct message if you deem it fit to send us a message. The social media platforms for Pick Parents Academy, Pick Parents Academy on YouTube, Pick Parents Academy on Instagram, and Positive Parents Academy on Facebook. Yes. So once again, I welcome you all to the Pick Parents Academy Thursday live discussion. This evening, we are discussing common parenting challenges and how to address them. You see, there are, I think I missed Ikea. Let me add her again. Yes, okay. So there are a series of challenges that we face in raising our children, okay? And parenting is not an easy job. Parenting is quite a tedious activity. And every family has their own peculiar challenges. You see, the kind of challenges that every family faces depends on most of the time the age of the child. So if you have toddlers, the kind of challenges you're going to face with toddlers are definitely going to be different from the kind of challenges you're going to face with preteens, adolescents, the kind of challenges you're going to face with teenagers, okay, and also young adults is different. So the age of the child is going to determine how whatever challenges they're going to face. All right, is mainly due to the fact that the children go through different development stages, and every development stage comes with its own challenges. Okay, the way the child is able to communicate, the way they are able to interpret language, the way their emotions are built. The other thing too that family challenges depend on are the family dynamics. Families are different. Every family is different. Okay, so there may be a family that has its own set of values, families too that come from different cultural settings and stuff. And all these dynamics of families have different effects and different expectations that they are going to have for the kids or the children that they are bringing up, and also individual circumstances. Okay, so there may be peculiar, special situations where a child has special issues. It may be medical, it may be psychological, it may be emotional, or whatever. You understand? So we may not be able to look at peculiar situations, okay, very, very separate or individual situations where the challenges are quite unique. But what we are going to try to address or try to discuss this evening are the common, you see, there are some challenges that cuts across all families, all parenting. Okay, there are very, very common challenges, and these challenges that cut across the board everywhere, almost common to every parent. Every parent is likely to encounter these sorts of challenges. That is what we aim to discuss this evening with you, and also share what we understand by these things, and try to propose ways and means on how you're going to address these things. And of course, there are a number of these challenges. Okay, so tonight with me, Equia is going to take us through some of the common challenges that parents face all across. And also, we look at how we're going to handle. There are a lot of challenges. If we open up to viewers too, those of you watching us, you may have uh, peculiar challenges that you would think every parent watching us right now knows whatever challenges you're going through with your children. Okay. And I'll not start mentioning them now. So I'll just go straight to Ikuya. Ikuya would tell us or mention some of these common challenges that all parents face. And we take it from there. So Ikuya, welcome once again to tonight's discussion. So what are some of the, can you hear me? Yes, your
Yes,
camera.
yes, I can hear you. I can hear
Okay,
you.
so yes, so talk to us. What are some of the most common challenges that all parents go through?
Okay, good evening to you all. I welcome you to the Tech Parents Academy. Hello, Kwame, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Yes.
Okay, all right. So, I welcome all of you here, and it's a Thursday live. So, as Kwame has already said, we are looking at common parenting challenges. I know there are a lot of challenges that as parents we face, okay? And um, we are going to give you, we can't, of course, talk about all the challenges that we face in raising our kids. So we are only going to look at a few of the challenges. And the first one that we will look at is, you know, the misbehavior of children. Misbehavior. Sometimes you hear parents say that my children, don't listen to me. They misbehave all the time. Anytime I tell them this, they do, different things. I mean, my children don't obey me, and all of the challenges that we face around that. So, first of all, I would want to say that before you can deal with any misbehavior effectively, you must, first understand why the child is misbehaving. You must first understand why the child is misbehaving. So, you may try to complain and all of that. Today, my child is this, tomorrow, my child is that. So you may try to, talk. You may try to, give all of those things, but the first thing that we have to know is that we need to, first of all, as we always say, you need to connect with your child. You need to build connection with your child before you can really, how do you call it? Before you can the child will listen to what you have to say. Okay, it's not about the intentions you have. We all have good intentions for our kids. We all, have intentions, but intentions doesn't really do anything. You need to learn how to connect with your child. It's very important. We always mention it almost every time, and it means that it is something that is very key in our parenting. So someone will ask, how do I even connect with my child? You always mention connection, connection. How can I connect with my child? There are several activities you can do to connect with your child. Okay, sometimes because of what we've been through in our childhood, some parents find it difficult building some relationships with our kids. Okay, so first of all, how can you connect with your child? You need to find activities that you are going to do every day so that you'll be able to connect with your child. There can be, let's say, for the week, you can have activities that you do each day. So let's say for day one, you can just say that our activity for today is maybe you are going to read to mommy or daddy. Okay, is a way you are building connection with your child. And then the following day, I am also going to read to you. And tomorrow, I mean, the day that follows, we are going to cook together. Today is a family meal time. We are going to cook together, and the next day you have the activities you can think of, an activity that you can do with your child to build that connection. So it takes, um, it's a process, and it takes a lot of consistency. If we are not consistent, we will never see the results that we want to achieve in our parenting. And it is one key thing that we need to note. And why do children even misbehave? Why do children misbehave? They misbehave mostly because they want our attention. Yes, a child will misbehave because they want your attention. And for a child, whether they have to put up a negative behavior to get your attention, whatever thing they have to do, whether negative or positive, they will use it to get your attention. So there was this video that I watched some time ago, and it was a scenario. The person was trying to show why a child will use a negative a negative, you know, a negative behavior to attract the attention of the parent. So this child was playing with some stuff, and she her mom was on the phone making calls without paying any attention to the child. The mom was just on phone talking and all of that. And the child was looking at the mother. I've been able to arrange these Legos. Mom, you're not saying anything to me. Like the child in the child's mind, that was what was going on in the child's mind. So the child will look at the mom and look at what he has done, and nothing. The mom is just on phone talking, chatting with a friend. And so something came to the child's mind that, okay, let me destroy this thing and see. Then he hit the things that the Legos that he has arranged. He hit
Mm-hmm.
them, they fell down. And the mom was like, the person should hold on. Why have you done this? Why have you thrown the Legos away? Don't you know they will break? So after he did, the mom paused the call and spoke like that to the child. She
Yeah.
went back to the phone, okay, and she was still on the phone. And the child was like, okay, I did this, and mom stopped the
Yeah.
call and came
So
to me.
I have to
Then
do the same thing to always get her attention. Yes.
yes, exactly. So the child was like, okay, then why don't I even spoil everything and throw them away? Then mommy will stop the call and come and see me. Like she will pay attention to me now. So the child just paused everything, and the mom cut the call. And then she started beating the child. Why did you do this? What did you? But at the end of the day, what is important for the child is that she has been able to get the mom's attention,
Yeah.
whether the behavior was negative or positive.
Interesting.
The child has been able to get the mom's attention at the end of the day. Okay, so let us understand this thing that a child, we need to pay attention. Okay, sometimes we need to end that call. Sometimes we need to, put the call on hold. Tell the person that this time, let people know that there are times. That is why, in parenting, you need to have structure. That is why having structure is important. There are times that you will call me and I will not answer, because that is the time that I have with my kids. And at that time, the phone is on silence. We don't do phones. You understand? So it is very important to have that structure, so that if at that time that person, whoever calls, and they don't reach you, they will know that this time if I call this person, I'm not getting that person. So I'll wait after whatever time to call that person. So we need to have structure in our parenting. It's very key. We need to have it that this is a time that I'm spending with my child, and
Yeah.
nothing should interrupt. you know Most of the times parents are busy. We go to work, we leave their kids with their teachers, we come home, and we are still on our phones without paying attention. Sometimes children are unable to even organize themselves. You see, in the morning, that is when you see a child doing something that they should have done the previous day, all
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have anyone guiding
Parents are
them.
busy. Yeah.
So we need to pay attention. Paying attention is key. We need to have, okay, every day I'm going to be with my child. I'm going to pay attention to my child for 1 hour every day. And that is how you pay attention, you build connection. And then the child, when they feel that they have someone that they can rely on, when they feel that they have someone they can trust, then they will begin to, listen to you whenever you say things. And mind you, when you have built connection with your child,
Yeah.
you need to also know how to talk to the child to get the child's attention. You need to come to the level of the child to get the child's, attention. So let us take notes today. I think Kwame, the tip of today was about not yelling. Okay, even if your child
Yes,
does
yes, yes.
something
Yeah.
wrong.
Parenting
Yes,
tip for the day. Yes.
yes. I saw the comments and it was really funny. Like one lady made a comment was like, "Hey, really? I don't have to shout at my child when they misbehave." It's true. You need to find that is why I see when you become a parent, you have to really before you do anything, before you react, you need to really think about it before you do it because now you have someone who is modeling after you, someone who is watching you. So you need to be very intentional. You need to be positive. You need to be intentional and you need to be conscious. Be aware. Okay. That time is not the time for you to be saying just anything. You need to really, sometimes we are unable to control our emotions. Okay. We are unable to control our emotions. So emotional intelligence is also another thing. It's also one basic thing like you will need in your parenting. Without it, you will yell, you will shout because you won't be able to control your emotions. So we need to learn how to talk to the kids also. It's very key. It's very key. And I don't know if Kwame has anything to add to it.
Well, you've mentioned a few points to us. For those who just joined us today, we are talking about some common parenting challenges and how to address them. Okay, there are a number of parenting challenges, and if I may mention some of them, just as Ikuya said, okay, we have challenges with children who normally misbehave. Misbehavior is really not, we shouldn't classify it negatively as something bad. We should just see it as part of the development of the child. So whenever your child misbehaves, don't classify your child as a bad child, as it were. Okay, you should just understand that it's a process, it's a development process. So everything that a child does has a reason. It has a psychological reason. It has at times it could even have biological reasons or medical reasons. Okay, so the child may be sick or the emotional reasons to it. So you just have to try as much as possible. You see, I always say that the key to really raising up your children and having a smooth parenting journey is trying to connect and understand the child. That is the key.
Yeah.
So if you have children that are misbehaving, as Ikuya said, yes, Ikuya mentioned that you need to really understand why the child is misbehaving. And probably it could be due to the fact that the child needs attention. Children always crave attention. Another thing I would like to also add to Ikuya, what you just said, is that I think that children also, most of the time, want to feel independent. Like they want to, most of the time, have their own way. And it's difficult for parents to allow them to have their own way. So it
Yeah.
takes tact and skill to try to let it seem like the child has his or her way. And that is why they will try to misbehave. Another thing, too, that I mentioned in the morning about the tip of the day, the parenting tip, was the fact that children are emotionally young. They are not properly developed emotionally. So their brains are not developed to a point where they can really assess situations. So that's why we need to
Yeah.
take it easy with them when they misbehave. Of course, we have to be quite, let's say, I don't want to use the word strict because most of the time we misinterpret strict, being strict to the child, to caning them, shouting or yelling at them, or at times even doing bodily harm or taking them through very, very stressful situations, which at the end of the day doesn't give us the best results for or out of the children that we are bringing up. Yes, I would also like us to understand that other challenges like the discipline situations, because if we are proposing that don't really yell at a child, the negative effects of yelling at a child far outweigh the positive effects. We think that yelling, and it's because most parents think, or most parents are used to yelling from their parents. Their parents
Yeah.
has always been yelling at them. So they think that the only way to get a child to listen to you, to do the right thing, is to yell. But I want to reiterate that if you think as a parent, with all due respect, I don't mean to talk down on anyone. Okay, it is something we are all learning, and we also have realized with experience, with bringing up the kind of parenting some of us had, and also uh, once we've had children, the experience we've had with these kids, and also testimonies and conversations we've had with parenting experts around, child development experts around, is that when you yell at a child, okay, or when you use those methods, you are actually bringing up something negative out of these children. Okay, you are bringing up something negative out of these children. So it is not good. Most parents really do not know the best forms of discipline for their children. That is why they resort to it. So if you think, because some time ago, I myself, I used to think that the only way I can get my child to behave very, very, let's say the word obedient, or behave well, listen to me, cooperate with me, and be a good child, was to be hard on the child, yelling, shouting at the child whenever he goes wrong, or I want to get him to or her to do something. And also applying the cane, like spanking and beating the child, taking the child through fear tactics. You see, but with years of experience and learning, I realized that all these things do not really help. And if I'm resorting to caning and yelling, it's basically because I'm ignorant of the best forms of discipline. It's just
Exactly.
basically what it means. You are just ignorant of the. So if you don't know something, it doesn't mean the thing doesn't exist. There are a lot of things we don't know in this world. And once you discover, that's when you realize that it was already there, just that you didn't know it existed. So discovering is taking the cover off the thing that you found now. That is the discovery you've made. So we want to let every parent watching and listening to us understand that there are better forms of discipline. So it's a major challenge that most parents are facing, how to discipline their kids, how to instill positive behaviors in their children. There's also the other challenge of sexual communications, like sex education. Okay, most
Mm.
parents think they are sort of scared. They don't
Mm.
really know what the right time is to start sex conversation with their children. All right. So some parents go by using the words private part, using public part, and all these jargons. Seriously, a lot of parents are just doing trial and error. So whatever we think would work is what we are applying in our parenting in raising our children. That's why for me, although I didn't have the best of parenting I needed, I don't blame my parents because probably they didn't know. All right. So why should I blame them? It is very, very important that we try as much as possible in this century. Okay, technology is far advanced, knowledge is all over the place. And today, I mean, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, who would have thought that we could have a parenting webinar, a parenting discussion online, how to raise your children? You see, but we've realized that Africa has gotten to a time that we need to start rebuilding our societies. And rebuilding our societies, I'll keep mentioning this, that if we need Africa to develop, if we need to rebuild the society, the African society, then we need to start from our families. And it depends on you, parent A watching me, you, parent B watching me, everyone here watching and listening. We all have a part to play. So let's start from the basics. Let's start from the roots and work our way from the ground before we get up. So challenges like that. There's also another challenge of parents who are very, very busy parents, okay, and trying to balance or combine the family, that's the family work balance. Okay, so most parents do not have enough time to really bring up their children, and a lot of parents, especially the middle class and the upper class, have maids and caregivers and all that. Others too don't have maids and caregivers. So, for instance, if there are parents who move out at dawn to work and come back late to the house, the kids spend most of their time with their teachers in school. All right. But one key thing that we should understand in raising our children are the values that we are using to raise the children. And the values do not come from these teachers. The values come from you, the parent, because you understand the reason why God gifted you this sweet little girl or this sweet little boy. It doesn't matter the age that your child has gotten to now. Okay, you asked for it, and God has given him or her to you. So it is your full responsibility to make sure that this child grows up to be the best form of a human being that he or she is meant to be. Okay, so when it gets to a point where we have so much little time, even most parents who are overwhelmed with the timings because they are not able to really combine work and family. You see, there's been a series of researches that have been done where a lot of parents complain or a lot of parents confirm that because they have kids or because they are parenting, it is affecting their work. And working parents too, most working parents too, have confirmed that because they are working, they are not able to have time for their children. So it's either your work is affecting how you are bringing up your children, or the fact that you are parenting or you're raising kids is also affecting the kind of work you do. All right. So there are a series of challenges. There are children that are so energetic. Okay. There are children that are already influenced by their peers, peer pressure. And as we're speaking now, there are a lot of parents who have kind of already lost touch with their children. So these kids listen to other people and listen to their friends, especially with parents who are parenting children of, let's say, the pre-teenage years or the teenage years. Okay, children that are about, let's say, 10 years, 15 years, and thereabout. And if the foundation was not very, very strong, such parents might have lost the contact with these children. So these are a number of challenges that, if we ask from the peak parenting community, everyone has their own peculiar challenges here. So I just wanted to indicate that these are also some of the challenges. We can go on and on and on and on, but for want of time, we will just focus on, let's say, 2 or 3 of these. At least by the end of this session, someone watching will be able to understand that, yes, this is a particular challenge that we are faced with as parents. And this is how, at least, I can be able to manage such a situation. So, Ikuya, we've mentioned the first thing, okay, which is children misbehaving. Okay, you've mentioned a few suggestions on how people or parents can handle such situations, like not really yelling at the children, but it's about understanding every situation. If you want to solve any problem at all, whether it's a mathematical problem, a physics problem, a social problem, you first need to understand the problem.
Exactly.
That is the beginning of every solution. So if you're having any challenge at all, you need to be able to understand the challenge before you can know how you're going to solve it. So if you think your child is misbehaving, okay, if you think your child is misbehaving, then try and do whatever it is possible to understand why. It is important to begin from the why before you can get to the how. You
Yes.
understand? So find out the why of your child's misbehavior before you can get to know the how you can handle it and how your child can move from a negative point to a positive point. Okay, so Ikuya, you can take us to another challenge. I believe that if viewers or audience have any questions or comments, they can post them to us. We discuss it. And also, yes, as we go on with our weekly live webinars, we would be touching on most of these things. So kindly take us on any other challenges too that you would want us to discuss.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Okay, so another challenge that I would want to touch is what today I think you posted in the page that someone uh wanted us to talk about how to, begin to have the sex conversations with your child.
Yes, and Ikea, before I forget, there's also another issue that another member on the page also suggested that how do you deal with bedwetting? Okay, it is very, very typical in our communities. Like there are a lot of parents who have issues with their children wetting their beds. Okay, it's when I was a child, and the kind of children, not really my direct siblings though, but the kind of children I grew up with, I knew that there were children who were always having issues of bedwetting, and at times they will go to at times visit some herbalist to get some concoctions believed to be able to solve bedwetting. Well, I don't really know how, to the extent of which these herbal concoctions work to stop bedwetting. But I mean, every psychologist and every person who's researched into this issue would understand that it's not just an issue, or it's not always the issue of medical problem that you have to resort to either herbal or any other medications. Okay, so if we have enough time to, we can move into that later. I just wanted to remind you so that we don't forget. So kindly take us to the other challenge that you mentioned.
Okay, so do I take the sex conversation first before then we
Oh, yes,
look
yes,
at the
yes.
bedwetting?
Please go to the sex conversations. Yes.
Okay, all right, all right. Sex conversation, it's a whole lot that when I mean 1 hour won't even be enough. We will need some days to be able to tackle that. And one thing we should take note of that is that
Mhm.
mostly as parents we think that we need to wait for our children to be of a certain age before we
Age.
begin to have the sex conversations with them. When you give birth to your child, okay, the moment they turn 1 or 2, you should even start having the sex conversations with them. And the sex
No,
conversation is
if you
not
wait,
about,
wait, please wait. So you mentioned that when they are 1 or 2, you should
yes,
start. When is it
yes,
the best time to start sex conversations with your child? 1.
okay.
Isn't it too early? Please
It's not
explain.
too early. So what I want to say is that having sex conversation doesn't really mean you are going to teach the kids how to have sex. No, that
Yes.
is not it. It begins somewhere. Okay, you need to be able to let them know the names of their body parts. Okay,
Yeah.
so from that age you can begin telling them, this is your eyes, your nose, this is your breast, your vagina, your buttocks. And we should stop this thing. Like we use different words for the
Mhm.
vagina. We don't really want to mention it to the kids. Let them know their body parts, and let them know. For instance, what I do with my 2-year-old is, um I always, when we are bathing, I ask her, show me, where is this? She'll point, this is my eye, mommy, this is my ear, this is my nose, my breast, this is my buttocks, she's able to mention everywhere. So I know that, okay, she knows her body parts. Then I begin to tell her, do not let anyone touch your vagina, okay? Do not let anyone touch any body part of yours. If you feel uncomfortable with it, tell them to stop. Okay, and I role play to her. I teach her how to do it. And recently I decided to do something to see if indeed what I tell her, she will be able to understand or get it. So I one day I asked her dad to go and bus her because I was doing something that very urgent. I had to take care of that thing. And when her daddy was bathing her, I think her dad asked her to go down so that he can wash the vagina. And she said, "Daddy, please don't touch my vagina." And I was like, wow. I was like, wow. She said it again. Her dad asked, "Mommy, what did you say?" "Daddy, please don't touch my vagina." And I was there and I was like, wow. I never thought she was even what I was telling
Two
her
and a
all
half
the
years.
time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sometimes we think that these kids are kids and they really won't understand what we teach them, but
Yeah.
they will do. They will see. You just keep doing what you have to do, and when the time comes, when they face that particular thing, they will remember what you have taught them.
Mm-hmm.
She's not 3, oh, she's not 3 yet, but she's able to say, and she was firm with it. "Daddy, please don't touch my vagina." She said it several times, and I was like, wow, wow. So this is a test. We were just testing the child to see what she was going to say at that time, and she was able to say it. So imagine we didn't really teach her the
Yeah.
vagina. We didn't really teach her what this how to name the body parts. She wouldn't have been able to even say anything at all. So these are some of the things. And sometimes I think it's because we have, when you mention sex, people feel some way. Like sex is something that it has to be private. We don't have to mention it in public. We don't have to teach our children. If we expose our children too much, they will know too much, and they will, they will begin to act that like they will begin to do it. No, if your child is well informed, if your child knows the consequences of having sex, involving in such behaviors, they will be more conscious of what to do at every particular point in time. Now, the LGBT community is also another thing. They are boldly pushing, telling people that it's okay to marry. If you're a woman and you want to be with a woman, it's okay to be with that woman. If you're a man and you want to be I mean, they are boldly, confidently pushing their agenda, and we are here. I don't know. We feel that we don't have to tell our children certain things. We need to wait until they are of certain age. Now, let me tell you this. I was having a conversation with a friend, and she said, we normally talk about how we can build connections with a child, and sometimes I gave her tips. And she mentioned that one time she was having a one-on-one conversation with a child to know you know how the day was and all of that. And she one thing that the child said, the child is, I think she said 6 years or 7 years. Yeah, the child is 7 years. And what the child, she was in their conversation, okay, the child was like, "Mommy, I know about marriage. I saw today in our class that two of my classmates, a boy and a girl, they stood
Mhm.
after our teacher went out, they stood in front of the class, kissed each other, and wore a ring, and they said they are
Whoa.
married. Two 7 year
Whoa.
old boy and
7 years.
girl, 7 years,
Wow.
okay, in class 2. And look at what they are being exposed to. They were kissing in front of all the other kids, and they put on ring to say they are married. And you will
In
be there,
Ghana.
you'll be
In
thinking,
Accra.
my seven, hello,
Yes, I was asking in Ghana or which
yes,
country?
right here in Ghana,
Oh, I
right here
see.
in Ghana. And I
Wow.
was like, yes, these kids know. See, that we expose them to the screen. They watch all sort of movies. They watch everything, so they know it is not a time to be private about these things.
Yeah.
Tell it to them, okay? Ask them what they know about it, and if they have the wrong information, tell them what it is. Don't hide anything. If it's A, let
But
them know
yeah,
it's
there's,
A.
there's there's this issue that I want to ask you. You see,
Okay.
when we are mostly, now our television, okay, the TV is filled with telenovelas, not Ghanaian
Yeah,
anymore, because at least
yeah,
Ghanaian telenovelas, we are able to a bit control such scenes that are quite not too healthy for the child. All right. But these foreign telenovelas, kissing is not an issue to them. Okay. They are bringing other cultures to our screens, and we've already massively embraced it. So you realize that you're
yeah,
watching some of these telenovelas or movies where scenes like that come up. The typical thing that a parent will do is just quickly cover the face of the child or try to do such things. You see, those situations are quite awkward moments. What is the best
yeah.
approach to situations like that? You are watching a movie. Is it that you just have to avoid such movies, or what do you think? How do you address? I don't know if you understand the question I'm asking.
I get it. I understand the
Uh,
question. So,
yes.
that is why I think with me, what we do at home, okay, I want
Mhm.
to mostly share what we also do so that at least people can be able to will be able to relate. Okay. So there are age appropriate movies. Okay. There
Okay.
are age appropriate movies that you have to let your kids watch. And see, when you are watching a movie with a child and there is such a scene, you don't
Yeah.
want the child to see that. So, in the first place, you shouldn't have even allowed that child. And for instance, before we allow any child to watch a particular movie, we watch the movie first to see if there are no scenes of, such scenes, then we can allow the kids to also watch. Because
Yeah.
once you don't want them to see porn, you don't want to see them to see porn. And don't forget that kissing is, also one way, of showing porn to them. So it will start from kissing. The
Yes,
next
it's
day is
that.
sex. The next day they will see naked people doing that, all sort of things. So
Yeah.
if it isn't age appropriate, then you don't have to allow your child to watch it. And remember, before you allow your kid to watch any movie at all, make sure you have watched the movie to see that there are no scenes of whatever thing that you don't want to expose your child to.
Okay,
And
okay. So okay, sorry, please go on. I wanted to ask a question there again, but you kindly conclude this one.
okay. And let's also note that our kids they may not be watching those kind of movies with us. They may be watching with their friends, and
Hmm.
their friends will also manipulate them. We all get influenced one way or the other. There
Yeah.
are good positive influence and there are negative influence. So their friends can negatively influence them to watch even porn. And you'll be surprised. Some children, as young as 7, 8, 9, are addicted to porn. You have no idea. Sometimes they see their parents have, sex. They see some children see all of that, and they begin to, sometimes to on their parents' phone. Some parents themselves are addicted to porn, so they give their phones to their children. One thing we don't also do to give my phone. No, 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 no. I tell them the phone belongs to mommy and it's private to mommy. It's not theirs. So they shouldn't touch it. We give our phones to our children. They see all sort of things on it, you know, and sometimes you give your phone you give your phone to your child to play game on it, and an ad comes. These days they show porn ads everywhere. So if
Yes,
your
the
child is
phone
exposed
ads,
to,
yeah, all over.
yeah. So if your child is exposed to something, that the world is just pushing its agenda on us. They don't care how young your child is, whether they know or they don't know. They are just pushing whatever they believe in. So it is also time for us to also begin the sex conversations early. There are age appropriate, ways to have these sex conversations, and we are putting things together for you. Very soon, everything will be out for you to also see. how you can begin to have age appropriate conversations, sex conversations with your child. It's very necessary. It has to start from somewhere. Then you begin to build it like that. So it gets to a time your children will be able to know, even if they meet their friends and then they tell them, things that are negative, things that are against their family values, they'll be able to know, no, in my home, we don't do this. We don't watch these kind of movies. And I have to excuse myself. Your child should be able to stand and say such things when they face such, challenges. So it's very important. Such conversations are very important. Okay.
Okay.
And mhm,
Yes. Yeah, I
okay.
have a question. You've mentioned about movies, like what we can deduce from this part is that it is very important that if you would show any movie at all to your children, then you should have watched the movie from start to finish. So you
Yes.
have to vet the movie as appropriate before. So don't just decide or think that because the movie is rated 12 or is rated 10 or whatever, you think it's okay for the children to watch. Okay, so it's important that all parents vet movies that they want to show to their children first before they show to their children. But what about a situation where it's TV, okay, it's a television show and you're watching like these telenovelas, all right? Or it's, let's
Mhm.
say, cable television, satellite television, and you're watching a movie. So this is a movie that you don't have any control over. It's already
Over.
showing, and a scene like
Yeah.
that happens. So what is the best approach that a parent can, yes, adapt to this?
Okay, so in such situations, okay, what you want to do is
Mhm.
we have a media plan, a
Okay.
media plan. So we have um times we need to watch television. There are channels we have to watch. There are channels we don't
Okay.
watch at
Okay.
all. So you
Yeah.
need to know what channel is my child watching? What do they show on that channel? At what time do they show inappropriate things? You have to know all of that so that you'll be able to plan accordingly, according to your values, according to your media plan. You should
Okay.
have it. You should have it. It's something that every family must have. Your family media plan to help you. And, as you have documented all of that down, you are teaching your kids. After you do that, you go through the plan with your kids. So they know that, okay, we are allowed only 2 hours on the screen every day, or we are allowed to have an hour on the screen every day. So once that time is up, sometimes we don't even have television at all. When we want to do movies, there are, a type of movie we watch, we download, and we show. We all sit there as we are watching, we pause, we ask questions. Sometimes it gets to sometime in the movie, you want to also ask them what they think if they should find themselves in this situation, what they'll be doing. So we have all of that. You are not allowed to watch screen like just anyhow. No, no. So
Okay.
parents should, take note of that, and they can also do that in their homes.
Okay. So I think that for me, the key takeaway here on sex education with your children is that it's never too early to teach your children and start such conversations on sex with them. But of course, there's always a way to begin. Okay. The child has their own stage. So there's this thing about not feeding the child too early and also not feeding them too late. So
Hmm.
not feeding them too early and not feeding them too late. So as a parent, you see, as we always continue saying, parenting is not a trial and error thing. No.
No.
For me, whenever I talk about parenting, I talk from experience and it's quite painful. Okay. I just imagine how life could have been if my parents knew the right way to bring me up. And I'm just imagining if all parents, and the focus now is on Africa, okay? So African parents, Ghanaian parents, if you really understand how it's important, how important the parenting role is in the lives of each individual or the people, every individual, that we will really take it serious. So it's not just or only about working, going to school, getting married, giving birth to the children, working, bringing money home, feeding them, and all that. No, there is more to that. It is very important because the kind of parenting you give to your child will go a long way to affect the kind of adulthood the child is going to have. It's
Yeah.
really going to go a long way to affect the kind of adulthood your child is going to have. So if you are not ready to really find out the best ways to bring up this human being, this lovely child, this wonderful little human being, if you are not ready to really take the effort, spend time, invest in acquiring the right knowledge in bringing up this child well, then you might as well never have to go into a relationship more, even to bring up a child. No, don't even think of giving birth or don't even think of having a child,
Yeah.
because I will keep saying that parenting is a divine contract. So if you believe that you were created by a God, then you are in contract with that God, because that God who created you is no longer created. The God who created Adam and Eve is no longer creating human beings. That shop, he's closed the shop, and now he's subletting the contract to you and I. So if
Yeah.
it gets to the time that you're ready, you bid for the contract by getting in touch with the opposite sex. That is the right form of relationship. Okay. Then whatever happens, you are gifted with a contract. Like you are awarded a contract. So it's up to you to bring up the child properly. So let us try as much as possible to invest in the best ways of raising the child, especially with issues and challenges like sex conversation. So it's never too late. And if your child is of a certain age, that is the way and manner that you can start the conversations with your child so that you have the best effect. You don't just go by introducing intercourse conversations to a
Mm-hmm.
5-year-old child. No, there's a way you
Yeah.
go about it.
Yeah.
It goes with a certain system. All right. And as Akia said, sex education or sex educating your child the right way is quite a deep thing. Every topic we discuss here is quite deep because it borders on human development, and humans are the most precious of all their creations. So anything that has got to do with human development, it's very important. So there are key webinars or discussions, seminar, uh, whatever um, sessions that we can have that we're going to discuss in depth. Okay. If the I don't know if we have sex education in any of our courses. If we do have sex education in any of the courses, if not to, I believe that very soon you're going to have some available for parents who would want to
Yeah.
get to understand more into sex education with a child. All right. So our time is far gone. I would want us to touch on one other common challenge that we think that is bothering parents. Let's quickly touch on the family
Bedwetting.
work balance, and also the bedwetting. All right. So a lot of us, even as we speak, there are a lot of parents who are not even home yet, but they
Mm.
have kids. All right.
Mm.
At times, too, in some homes, it's only the mother that is home. The father is still out there. And in some families too, it's only the father that is home. The mother is out there. Some are also outside the country. So we have those dynamics. All right. But whatever it is, the relationship between your work and your family life will one way or the other affect the child's development. It's a challenge to most families or most parents. So, how do you think do you have any idea how you think parents can also balance such situations? a scenario like that. So work and family life balance. What do you have to say about that? Just briefly.
Okay, so I think in our parenting, okay,
Yeah.
we need to have time for it. We need to
Okay.
pay attention. We need to give it time. Now, there's
Mm-hmm.
this man that he's 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 a military man, okay, so he's not always with his family, but
Okay.
every day he finds time to connect with his children. How does he do it? Online.
Mm-hmm.
He does a video call, he does activities with the kids. It's so lovely. I mean, how he
On the
does it.
phone.
So on the phone, video call.
Well,
Okay. So he said he has said to himself that even his profession is not going to stop him to be close to his family. So he
yeah.
thinks that he has to find a way to do it so that at the end of the day he can have some influence on the kids. He will be able to bring them up in a way to glorify God.
Exactly.
So not having time. Mostly we say that we don't have time. Of course, we need to work. Money is important. We need money to take care of the family and all of that. But also ask yourself, there are instances where parents have left their children, traveled outside the country, you know, to be able to make some money, and they leave their kids, they go live their life, and their kids do whatever, they mingle with friends, they end up doing drugs and all of that. And when
Mm-hmm.
after the parent has gotten all the money that they want, they come
Um,
back to the country, they see their children, they are like, how can I help my child? And all the money that they've been able to acquire, they begin to spend that money to heal the child. So at the end of the,
mm-hmm.
of the day, you went to work for money, and you are using that money to heal the child who, if you had given some time to, in their upbringing, they would have ended up being great people, being destiny changers, being messiahs of their generation. So it is true,
Okay.
there is no time, but we need to we need to give it some time. Okay, that is why you need to have a structure. You need to have time that you have to work. You need to have time that you have to connect with your children. You need to have time that you teach your kids some skills. It is very important. So if you know your time, if you know you don't have time, you are a busy parent, you are a working parent, you can use the weekends, can be of a great, use to you. Most of us are home on the weekends. Now, how do we utilize our weekends? So if you're a parent who work from 9 to um, very late in the evening, then you have to begin to look at how you can make good use of the weekends so that you'll be able to teach your kids, you'll be able to guide your kids very well. Because note that your presence is more important, and it's not about spending about 40 hours or the whole day with them. Some parents are there, they are present all the time, but their children don't feel their presence because they are there with their kids, but they are on phone all
Mm,
the time. They are there with
yeah.
their kids, but they are watching telenovelas. They are there
Yeah.
with their kids, but they are doing other things. So it's not about the number of hours you stay with the kids, but
Quality
it's
time.
about the experience, the quality time, the things that you teach. Even if you have 30 minutes every day that you have to spend with your children, make sure that the 30 minutes at the end of the day, the children have value. The children
Okay.
have value. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Akuya. I would also want to add a few things to this balancing work and family life. Okay,
Mm,
I think that if you're a key part of the company that you're working for or you're working with, I think that you can start by having some conversations. If you think that you're getting quite overwhelmed with taking care of the kids at home, the first thing is you need to have a conversation as a couple. So if you are
yeah.
two, a mom and a dad, then you should have a conversation. You see, there is this interview I watched with Kobe Bryant, okay?
mm,
And Kobe Bryant passed away, I think last year or last 2 years. For some of us who don't know who Kobe Bryant is one of the greats, the greatest players, NBA basketball players of all time, one of the greats. And he died with his daughter in a plane crash, I think
okay.
2 years ago or something. And I watched one of his interviews, and the interviewer asked him, how is he able to balance his work? Because Kobe Bryant was a beast when it comes to his work, like playing NBA. He would train from even after training the daytime with his teammates. And after his teammates have gone home to sleep, he was still trained throughout the night. He was a
Mm,
workaholic. They used to call him Mamba, Mamba mentality. Mamba is like a wild snake. So he was wild and serious with his work and his craft. And through that serious hard work, through that mentality, he became one of the best NBA players. If he was a major contender with the king, LeBron James. Okay, now they asked him, how is he able to balance his work, the playing NBA basketball, and also family life? And what he said was that in the beginning, it was quite difficult between him and his wife, but he had a discussion with the wife and explained everything to the wife. So they both accepted that this is what they have in front of them. His work is also very important, but his passion is really becoming the best NBA player. And
mm,
still, he will still be able to deliver his mandate as a father to the family. So, what a wife told her, and he was praising the wife because he said that his wife is a major part of his success. His wife is the reason why he is able to focus so much on the basketball that he's playing. For the fact that his wife agreed and told him that, okay, Kobe, that's fine. If you're going to play basketball, okay, spend most of your time, which means that there are some days continuously myself and the kids are not going to have access to you, we are not going to see you at home and all of that, then
mm,
it is only one promise that you have to make us, that when you go out to play, make sure you bring back the trophy. And I assure you that if you go and you don't bring back victory, then I'm also not going to take care of the kids in your absence. So it was an agreement between the two of them. Whilst the man is taking care of work, seriously working at times that he's supposed to work, the woman was also fully 100% in charge of the home.
mm,
Situations where the father, Kobe, had time to come home, they had quality time together. They would travel, they would cook meals together, they would spend time together with their kids. If there are times too that the mother has to rest and the father takes charge too, that's what they did. So if you're a couple, you can always have a conversation, okay, and share duties, plan, structure the times that you're going to have with the children. It's going to really, really help if you're both busy. In
yeah.
other case too, if you're a single parent, that is where it becomes more difficult. Okay, are you with us? All right.
Yes, 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 I'm here.
Yes, so that's where it becomes very difficult. So it means that you're going to plan on your own. With that, what I would advise is you can have conversations with your employer. Okay, explain your situation with your employer. And if there can be any sort of flexible arrangements between yourself and the employer with respect to your work times, so that
Mm,
you can schedule yourself and know when you can have enough time to go pick your kids at school and bring them home if that's what you do, or if you have someone else. So you can have all these conversations with your employer. I also think that you should be able to, okay, you mentioned that earlier, you should be able to set boundaries. For instance, you don't come home, you work the whole day and you come home and still work is calling you when you are with your wife or when you are with your husband or when you are with your kids, you are with your
mm,
kids. So you should
mm,
be able to set boundaries. Let your colleagues at work understand, let your employer understand, okay, your situation. The greatest thing that really helps human beings progress in living together is how we communicate with each other. So whatever the
Yeah.
situation is, I believe that if you communicate properly with all stakeholders, you would all be able to find a common ground and you all progress together. So I think that is
Agree.
also one thing that parents can take care of. Set boundaries. Okay, know when to pick calls. When you're with a child, to please make it quality time, even if it's 30 minutes or even if it's 20 minutes or 10 minutes, let it count. So, as Akuya mentioned, don't be with a child. Your child has seen you. You've come home, Daddy. How are you? They want to be with you and have that time with Daddy or have that time with Mommy, and you're still on your phone, chatting, sending messages, checking your emails, and all that. Please, you should be able to structure. So it all also feeds into discipline. How disciplined you are and how structured you are in the
Exactly.
kind of life that you are building. And another last thing I would want to mention, this is one thing that really takes a lot of time out of the shadows, or that really poses a huge challenge to most mothers, especially the women. It's meal
Mm,
planning, food,
mm,
preparing food for the family. You see, if you're a woman and you're always going to prepare meals every day, just imagine the amount of time you spend in preparing meals. You're a working mother too, and you have to come home and cook again. When is the food going to get ready for you to serve the whole family, eat,
mm.
do other chores in the home, get the kids ready to go to bed and all that? So my advice is that if you're a busy parent, try and plan your meals. So you and the father, if you're a single parent, you can do the same thing on your own. Just
Yeah.
take one weekend, plan the whole week's meal ahead. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If it's two stews you're going to prepare, let's say two stews, two soups, and you have, let's say, rice. As for rice, let's say if you have your soups in the fridge already and you have your stews in the fridge already, you can quickly boil your yams if you want it fresh, okay, or you can quickly boil your let's say rice or whatever meals that you can. But the bottom line is, I don't know which meals that are peculiar to you, but just plan your meals, because preparation of food takes a lot of time. So
Yeah.
it gets to a point where it becomes quite overwhelming. So I believe that if you're a busy parent and you're finding it difficult to also combine the family life and work life too, these are a few tips I think can help you balance your family and your work life. And the last thing I would want us to touch on, Ikuya, is bedwetting.
Mm.
Kids that wet their beds. I think that for this one, I can see you're smiling. For this one, you've always been talking about it. You are more than an expert, okay, because you've practiced it with your kids, and in fact, I've witnessed it. Um, Bedwetting is almost something that you've what is the word I should you've outlawed in your home, okay, masterfully. So can you share with us, if parents or if I have children that are not able to wake up in the night and urinate, or children that are not able to control themselves in that line, how can parents
Mm.
prevent or solve the issue of children who wet their beds?
Okay. So when it comes to bedwetting, I know it's a problem for most parents, and there are children who are grown and still bedwet, and we think that it's because they are lazy. It's
Mm-hmm.
because all of that. We mostly think they are lazy. That is why they don't want
We
to
mostly
wake up.
cane some parents who will lash
Yeah,
them.
we
You don't
shame
know
them,
if
we
they wet
cane
again.
them,
Yeah.
all sort of things we
Yeah.
do. Now imagine this, okay? Imagine this. You are crossing the road and you can't cross the road, and then someone hates you for not being able to cross the road.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your fault?
No.
It's not your fault. You can't cross the road. You don't even know how to go about it. And someone is there beating you because you can't cross the road. So the children is bedwetting. It is something that they can't control. First of all, let's know that the bladder may not how do you call it? They may have a bladder that is not well developed. Okay,
Mhm.
so and the bladder control, for them to be able to control their bladder, it comes in stages. You understand? It comes in stages. So they may have grown, but their bladder hasn't reached the point where they can,
Oh,
they can just wake up and go and urinate and all of that. So we need to understand that part, that part, that their bladder may not have been fully developed, and that is
develop.
why, or what is causing the bedwetting. Also,
Okay.
let us also know that it may be due to health issues,
Mhm.
UTIs. When you have UTI, sometimes you want to
In the
urinate.
child.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So you need to find out from your doctor or anything, to check if there are such problems, any health problem with your child. Then, if there are any solutions to it, the doctor can recommend what's best solution, to give you. There's also another thing that we give all sort of, beverages, these sweet um drinks mixed with chemicals and all of that. We give them to our kids, and it poses a whole lot of issues to them.
Health risks.
These sweets and all of that, let's just cut it. Prepare natural juices for your children. They will be healthier when they consume the natural juices. You can, of course, they may you may not be able to, give them something healthy all of the time, but at least once in a while you can get something, for the child. But always make sure that the number of times they are consuming the natural, juices are a lot more. Okay, so let's take note of that. And also,
Okay.
some kids eat very late in the evenings. They drink more water in the evenings. And of course, the more water you drink, you will, feel the need to urinate.
Yeah.
So we need to rather let them take more water in the afternoons. So if your child is in school, you can talk to your child's teacher that this is a problem you are trying to solve with this child. And so one way they can help you is to also ensure that they help you, to ensure that the child drinks enough water at school during the daytime. So you need to also have built some relationship with the teacher, for the teacher to also intentionally help you, on that aspect. So you want to do that. Make sure that in their water bottle, for my kids, when we fill their water bottles, we give them extra water in case it's finished. Then, so when you come home, your water should have finished. You don't have to come
Yeah.
home with any, water remaining in the bottle. You should consume everything. And as they are taking more water in the afternoon, they are exercising their, their bladder, and when it's done consistently, they'll be able to, even when they sleep and they feel they want to urinate, they will just wake up and go to the urinal and then urinate and come back and sleep. You wouldn't have to be worrying them, waking them up and all of that. So when your child bed wets, just get I've forgotten the name that they use for it. You can get some, rubber, and place them on their beds, you know, then don't be waking them up in the night, like forcing them to go and urinate. You are worrying them, let them sleep, but just ensure that with consistency, every day you are doing it, be consistent. See, consistency is key in our parenting. It's very key. We need to do it continuously. Let's not just say we want something to fix it now, 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 now. No, let's be patient, and keep trying. Let them eat healthy. Let them drink more water in the afternoons. Check if there is anything, wrong with them, with their bladder or anything from your doctors. Check all of these things and then begin to help your child. If you have the knowledge, if you have the idea, you won't be overwhelmed with these things. You wouldn't have to shame your child because they've, they've bedwet, you wouldn't have to. They are all not necessary. If you do that, you are killing the child. You are, they will become timid. Why do you have to even shame a child for the mistake they do? You need to correct and guide them. We keep shaming our children because we've bedwet. I recall when I was ignorant, when I didn't know all of these things, there was one child that we used to we used to share. We would let her carry her mat and everything because she has, she has done all of that on herself. And sometimes when I recall what you know we did, we thought we were rather helping her to stop
Even in my,
bedwetting.
in my village, we have songs that we used to sing to disgrace such children so that
Yes,
we
yes,
once you raise them like that and shame them, they will stop. As if, as you mentioned, the person is crossing the road and they can't cross the road, and you think that yes, it's because they are able, but probably they can't even move their legs or something. So we
yeah,
think that it's deliberate on their part to, of course, when we
yes,
were kids,
yes.
sometimes you have dreams where I don't know if women really have such dreams, but for we the guys, we remember at times you dream and you think that you are at a place where you are comfortable and how do I say it? You're releasing water comfortably. You think that
Yeah,
in real life you are not sleeping. By the time you realize you are sleeping and you've really messed up the whole mat. You see,
yeah,
deliberate.
yeah,
But you are made to feel that you intentionally did it. So they have to shame
yeah,
you so that you go and sleep. How do you expect a child to be conscious of whether you see it's all an issue of understanding, okay?
yeah.
Understanding whys, why the thing happens. So any problem, one thing I would want all of us to take with us tonight as we leave this webinar is that every challenge that you're faced with, every situation that you're faced with, try and understand the whys. The whys are more
Mm.
important than the hows. Okay, so if you understand why something happens, it will be very, very easy for you to solve it. So, Ekuya, as we come to a close, I want you to talk to us about your the Pick Parents WhatsApp community, what you do there, and how people can also join. Then we can bring this session to a close. Why should someone want to join the Pick Parent WhatsApp community?
Okay, so as you all know, Pick Parent Academy is an academy that helps and equip parents with the right knowledge and skills to be able to raise wholesome and responsible children. We believe that parenting is a skill and everyone has to learn parenting. Whether the fact that you've been able to give birth, or the fact that you are a mother or you are a father, doesn't mean automatically you know how to raise a child. No, there are some experiences some of us have had that we weren't happy with, growing up, and we wouldn't want to repeat that to our children. So, and that is why it's important for us to learn parenting. There are principles, there are principles to parenting, and everything that works actually works with principle. So
Yeah.
that is why we are here to, help parents to be able to unlearn certain things, then to relearn, to help, to help themselves and to help also their children. So we have our WhatsApp community, Pick Parent Academy. If you are interested, you can send us a message. I think we have the link on Instagram, on our Instagram page, the link in bio. You can have the link to the WhatsApp community over there. And we give tips and hacks on how you can parent effectively. And also note that for you to we are actually cooking something for there is something that we are coming up with where we will take parents on a journey. We believe that parenting it shouldn't the tips and hacks you will get them, but sometimes you wouldn't know what to do, you wouldn't know what to do. So we are planning on taking you on a journey. We are going to have a community, an inner tribe, where we are going to take you on a journey where we give you daily um, um, tools, daily activities to do. We will give you access to courses that can help you really build some structure, really build your family on you, so that you will know, okay, you will be aware, you will be more how do I put it? You'll be more clear with what you have to do at every point in time in your parenting. So we will let you know when we are done with everything that we are preparing along that line and to help you. We want to help more parents. We believe that Africa has to, we must rise. We must rise. And how can we all do it? It has to start from somewhere. We need to begin to think of raising a new generation, a generation that will rise to, do something better for the continent. We deserve to have better things. We deserve quality leaders. We deserve to have um, all the good things that other people in other countries, the first world countries, are enjoying. We deserve all of that. And we believe that through parenting, we can raise children who will stand up to take that mantle to change the continent. So that is why we are here. If you want to join the community, as I said, you can get the link on our Instagram bio,
Instagram page.
or you can send us a message as well, and we will let you have the link to join.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much, Ikuya, for being with us tonight to discuss some common parenting challenges and how to address them. I believe that everyone who has watched this session, whether fully from the start with us or at a certain point in time, found some bit of value. Okay, we just lost Ikuya out here, but yes, some bit of value out of this. So we really appreciate you, the time that you spent. As I always keep saying, that the society, the family, is the bedrock of every society. So if it is your responsibility as a parent to build the family that is going to really create the change that is required in our society. Okay. And it begins by learning whatever you are required, learning the particular skills. The fact that you're a driver, or the fact that you have a car, you own a car, or the fact that you are sitting in the driver's seat in front of the steering wheel does not make you a driver. You are a driver by virtue of the fact that you possess the skills to be able to move the car from one point to another point safely and successfully. So, as a parent, you need to acquire the necessary skills. So, I entreat everyone to join the Pick Parent Academy community so that you can share ideas, experiences, the challenges that you're facing, and how you're going to really create the kind of family that will be a game changer. Okay, your children deserve to have the best parents that is going to help them become who they were actually created to be. They deserve better. They deserve a great parent. So you have to be the great parent who would be able to guide them, direct them, raise them into becoming those wonderful adults. So thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure with you. This is the Pick Parent Academy Thursday Live, and you spend time with myself, Kwame Brimpong is my name, and the co-founder of Pick Parents Academy, Ikuya Safo. Thank you so much for your time, and do stay blessed. Bye.
Bye.